How are we today? I'm Steve with a Different Chick Farm and Orchard. Been wanting to get this video out to you for a while. It just seems like I never take time to stop when I'm making my hot sauce or salsas. You know, it's always so busy, whatever I'm doing. So this evening I've decided to stop what I'm doing and give you all this video. We'll make a hot sauce. You know, it sounds silly. I get those questions about chili and everything. Everybody's like, well, is it hot? Well, of course. It's got chili peppers in it. But this is what I would consider a hot sauce. It's not an insanity level. It's not a beyond insanity that where you add back in concentrates. This is just a good hot sauce. We're going to work with some Apocalypse scorpions. I think you all can see that pretty good. And we're going to be working with Trinidad Congos. Those are just gorgeous, wonderful peppers, great flavor. For some sweetness, we're going to work with a Melrose. You can use about any type of a sweet pepper. And going to work with a couple of small to medium bell peppers. Wish I had two red ones, but that green one won't change our sauce color too much. So this is what I'm going to be working with. And something a lot of y'all may not have used yet. This is a Degato, if I'm pronouncing that right, jalapeno. I've got several different sizes here. Actually, that one's got a bad spot on it, so we won't be using that one. Missed that when I was cleaning them up. We got several sizes. That Degato jalapeno is gorgeous. It's very, very, very mild. I could have used a regular jalapeno, but I didn't have many regular jalapenos that were red, and I wanted a good jalapeno base in this. This is going to be a fermentation. We're going to ferment the peppers. And then we'll be using a whole large sweet onion, Vidalia, whatever you got, Walla Walla, and we're going to be using some allspice and 2 small cloves of garlic. This is our garlic that we grew. The peppers we all grew. The allspice is store-bought. The onion is store-bought. Everything else we grew right here on the farm. That's how I love to make my stuff, whether it's a powder or whatever. I try to use as much of the stuff as we do here on the farm. But while I'm talking to you, I'm going to start cutting this onion up. But I like a good hot sauce. I don't like it so hot that I can't enjoy it. For an everyday sauce, something in the neighborhood of this, or maybe even a little bit cooler, is what I prefer for an everyday sauce. I do like some hot stuff sometimes that just scorches your mouth and leaves you wondering why you would ever eat it. But I do rather enjoy it. We grow about 80 varieties of peppers here on the farm, and we like to use them. My rule is I don't like to grow anything that we don't consume. It's just does not make sense to me. We grow and sell a lot of stuff, you know, so you know you could make an argument for, well, let's grow it because somebody will buy it. But I don't like that. I like to grow it because we're going to eat it. This is our garlic. Tiffany grew this. Obviously, we all assisted, but she grew the garlic and basically took care of it most of the time. And these are some of the smaller bulbs. A lot of the bigger ones we saved for seeds for this season, getting ready to come around. So we'll be putting those in the ground here just shortly, as a matter of fact. So we'll have garlic for next year, and hopefully as of next year we will be in a good spot to have plenty of garlic. I dare say what we grew this year will be enough seeds. We shouldn't have to buy no seeds. And then, like I said, we've saved back these small ones for us to use, which is quite a bit. But we do a lot of cooking, so we will go through quite a bit of garlic. That is the way it works around here. And you can use a granulated garlic in this. There's nothing wrong with it. But I have the fresh garlic, and the fresh garlic is a little better. So I'm going to use the fresh garlic. Probably should have peeled this before. If I'd have thought about it, I would have. And we're just going to crush this garlic. And we want the garlic in the bottom of the jar. That way it doesn't float to the top. We don't want no mold on our fermentation. So we're going to put the garlic in the bottom underneath of all the peppers and onions that we're working with. Now y'all be sure down in the comments below to leave me comments about what your favorite hot sauce is, whether it's store-bought or homemade. If you want to share your recipe, we'd love for you to share your recipe. I might want to check it out myself. I'm going to be working on, after this one, I'm going to be working on a yellow hot sauce with some Saco de Velhos and some ají golds. I think I'm going to use, we grow a yellow Corne de Toro sweet pepper and I'm definitely going to butcher this name, a paradiscium. That is a super sweet pepper, and I think I'm going to use them in that to add that level of sweetness to it. I tend to not like, anyway. My taste buds gravitate towards the sauces that hit you sweet and then come back with the heat. All the heat isn't up front. Not that I necessarily hate those type of sauces that don't have the sweet, but I tend to gravitate towards that sweet taste. So we'll see how this one turns out. This is a modification of another recipe that I've got, and I'm changing it up, changing the peppers in it. It actually called for just 4 traditional jalapenos, which of course are much smaller than these Degatos. These Degatos are 3, 4, and sometimes even 5 times the size of a traditional jalapeno, and of course the jalapeno is hotter. We grow about, I don't know, 8 or 9 different types of jalapenos. A brown jalapeno, and we grow the Degatos, and we grow a pumpkin spice and a lemon spice or lemon, and a orange spice, and I don't know if I said brown jalapeno, and early jalapeno, and a traditional jalapeno, and I'm missing one. There's another one we grow. This year we've noticed so far, now I haven't eaten one of the orange spice yet, so I can't speak for it, but we have noticed that the little jalapenos that we have harvested have been substantially hotter than the all the rest of them. They get your attention. jalapeno is hot. It's not that hot, you know, in this world where we're at today with all the super hots and everything. Jalapeno is extremely mild, but these guys seem to have had a little extra kick in them. We really enjoyed them so far. We've harvested several bushels of jalapenos so far this year. Made some cowboy candy. If that's a video you'd like to see, just comment below and let me know, and we'll try to get that video in before the year is out. Peppers are coming in real strong now. We're harvesting probably about 3 to 4 bushels a week between our super hots and our traditional and even our sweet peppers. So probably 4 to 5 bushels. I wasn't thinking about bell peppers. Time you count the bell peppers, it's probably 4 to 5. All right. Now let's cut up these scorpions. These are apocalypse scorpions, and we're just going to cut them into pieces. And I'm going to try not to handle these no more than I have to. I'm used to having capsaicin all over my hands, but it's more pleasant at the beginning of the day than it is the end of the day. I have a bad habit of sleeping with my hand in my face, and scorpions don't make that fun. I've got some reapers that are ripe today, and I got a couple more on the way right behind them. So looking forward to making me another reaper hot sauce. I made one last year with a lot of super hots, and reapers was the main ingredient. I didn't care for the flavor when it was a fermented hot sauce, and I let it ferment for 12 months, and I wasn't a fan of it. It did not turn out the way I wanted it to turn out, so I'm going to try a different recipe this year on my super hot fermentation. We've got a bad spot on this pepper, so I'm actually only going to use 2 3/4 scorpions. Easier than trying to cut it out. Now we're going to cut up the Trinidad Congo. The scorpions smell amazing, but to me, the Trinidad Congo and the Caribbean Reds are just some of the best smelling peppers out there. They have such an amazing aroma. Oh, they fool you with how pretty they are, and they fool you with how they smell. And then when you bite into them, you realize it was a prank. I'm going to stop at one of those for right now. Make sure I've got enough room in this jar, because I usually do a quart. And I decided I'm going to do a pint on this one since it's a modified recipe, so I can make sure of what I'm getting here. Don't know if y'all can see how meaty that Degato jalapeno is. They are amazing. And I'm taking the seeds out of these Degatos. I left the seeds in the scorpions. You can take them out if you want. This particular time I'm leaving them in. But I am removing them from the Degato. That way I'm getting more of just the sweetness out of this Degato. Looking at these ingredients, and I'm wondering if I didn't calculate for a quart. I may have to modify on the go here, which isn't a big deal. It's the way I cook anyway. My only reason I write recipes down is for everybody else, because for me, it's just it's what I'm in the mood to do at the moment. Is how I cook. So definitely not a chef, even though I can cook about anything that I want to. Somebody says, you ask you, well, can you cook this or that? And I say, if I can't, I say, no, I don't want to cook that. It's always an excuse, you know. Let's push these peppers down. You know, we're looking for the peppers to really fill up the jar. Okay, so we're about halfway there. So I am going to go ahead and do one of the Melrose peppers, because I'll probably end up breaking this up into 2 jars and doing it that way. And I'll probably even on the second jar, just to have something to compare, I'll probably on the second jar cut it down to 1 scorpion and take it up to 2 of the Trinidad Congos, so I could compare the difference in the 2 salsas, hot sauces. And I'm not by no means trying to get every seed out of these sweet peppers, but you know what's handy is what I get out. And we're doing a rough chop on these peppers. You know, those are 1-inch probably pieces. Doesn't matter how you want to chop it up, that's up to you. You can chop it into blocks if you want to, but if you chop it a little bit finer than blocks, you get the ability to put more in your jar. Now we're going to break open this red bell pepper. Red bell pepper's got a great taste and flavor to them. They really develop that sweetness to the end. Of course, when you cut them on a cutting board where you just cut super hots, they also have some kick to go along with that sweetness. And that's what we're trying to get out of this hot sauce, is we're trying to get that kick, but yet we're trying to get that sweetness. You know, these peppers can somewhat speak for themselves when it comes to cooking and so forth. So many flavors out there and tastes, and I continue to add new ones every year, so that okay, I'm going to add a half a teaspoon roughly of thyme, allspice. Go. Now we're going to try to get half of this onion in there. People underestimate an onion and the flavors that it gives you. Onion makes a chili. It makes hot sauce. Now, you don't have to use a weight, but I happen to have a weight, so I'm going to use a weight. And basically the weight is going to hold the onions and the peppers down below. When I put the lid on, it'll push them down and hold them so they stay below the brine. So the brine is the last thing that I have to take care of here. Move this garbage out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and put these extra peppers. And when I get off with you all, I will make my second hot sauce. And let them both ferment. And then we'll have a taste after the fermentation is done. And see which one we like better. Maybe that we like them both. You know, just because two hot sauces are different don't mean either one of them isn't good. You can use them on different things and for different reasons. You know, one hot sauce may be great on fish, and one may be great on steak, and one may just make amazing wings. So, pardon me for stepping away from you, but I want to wash my knife off. Got to take care of your equipment. Okay, so we're at the brine category. On your brine, you want about 3% salt. You know, you don't want table salt. You're looking for a Himalayan rock salt or a sea salt, something that doesn't have anything added to it that's in its natural state. If it's not in its natural state, then it will interrupt what's going on. What I've got handy here, we also have sea salt, but what I've got handy here, I mean, we also have Himalayan rock salt, is just a sea salt. Now, this is in what you can think is a table salt container. The sea salt has got popular enough now that it's readily available. So let me get, I didn't get that out, let me grab something to mix this in. Okay, we're going to start with about 4 ounces of water. I'm going to go ahead and do an 8 ounce. That way I will have enough for my next one, hopefully. If not, I'll make more. And we'll go ahead and get my scale. Okay. And that is pardon me if I'd made a note. I would have known this off the top of my head, but I didn't. So. Okay, so we need 0.24 ounces of salt. So bit over. There we go. All right. Now I'm just going to give it a good stir. We want to make sure that the salt is soaked up into the water good, because if it's not, when we pour it in the brine, we may not be pouring the salt in. So we want to make sure that it's in the water, so when the brine goes in the peppers in our fermentation. What we're going to do is we are going to fill this up. We're going to go ahead and fill it to the top. I'm just right below the top, about 1/4 of an inch. But what we got to figure is there's air pockets in these peppers, and so that brine is going to soak down in there. So we may even have to top this off one more time after it drains down. But we'll see how that goes. And on this one, because it's not going to be a long fermentation, I am going to be using just my old traditional rubber lid. Plate to the side. Anyway, this allows the air to burp out. Now these are not nearly the CO2 to burp out. These are not nearly as good as the airlocks. But I've only got so many airlocks, and I have several of the other ones. So I'm trying to use these on my longer fermentations. These have it's got a little, this will go on the top of your jar, and then this will go down into the rubber grommet that's in the lid in the jar. You put the rubber grommet in the lid, and then the cap basically just sits on there, and all you're trying to do with the cap is make sure nothing gets down in here. And you want to sanitize these like everything else before you do your fermentation. You want it sanitized, because we don't want to grow mold. We're trying to ferment peppers, not grow mold. So, see if y'all can see as I tap on this, see the bubbles coming up. So that's what we're trying to do, is get those bubbles out. Now if I come back to this tomorrow and the brine has dropped below the ingredients, below the fermenting peppers and onions, then all I'm simply going to do is add some more brine. The addition of the brine I'm going to take a little bit of brine out of there. And I may have to add some of this back tomorrow. Let's take a layer of onions out. Okay, we're almost there. This is one place that the airlocks work better because you can fill it and then don't have to worry about it. Okay, we are there. So now, I'm going to put the lid on, double check it, make sure there's nothing ended up on it. See that lid just